This scup too for this
Well, I
season.
don't want a dishonourable loss either. I mean, you take what you can get, Jimmy.
No, you do, but they're within striking distance. And the way that they've played all over Fremantle, they have to give themselves a real chance at three-quarter time.
Come back from the scones and get heavy. There's the bounce. Knocked down by Sandlin's wide of the pack. Well, he's back and he looks okay. Hill onto the loose ball. Sends it down towards half forward. Pavlich is marked 55 metres out. Running to space is Clark. The kick does him no favours. Got hands to it though. They lead from both directions to the footy, and Main off the ground misses. Well, it was a sprint back. They had the first two in the race, but Main's ability to get the angle on it was non-existent. Simply kicked it straight ahead. The margin out to 19 now. Murphy short. That would have made it tough. An opportunistic goal there. Higgins has got it. He's had a good afternoon too, Higgins. Like him back across half-back because generally uses the ball pretty well. Sends it wide. Not this time. Hill juggles the mark. So Hill, boy from West Perth, lines up and sends it long down towards full forward. Clears the pack. Punched in front. Pierce. That's Daniel. Sends it across the face of goal. It bounces through for behind. Clancy, of course, not playing this afternoon. It's 9-8 to 5-12. Back-to-back behinds for Fremantle to start the final term. Bit on his mind.
Would have been pleased with that third quarter, getting just a bit of reward for all the hard effort. Liberatore, strong kick. Cranberry. Gee, they're on here. Bontempelli. Now G is on his own in the pocket. He hasn't seen him. He was all alone. He's still all alone, and he's screaming at the kid. And the kid hasn't spotted him. Kicks the full forward, and that's a disappointing result. Dawson. Mzungu. Griffin to cut it off. Well, held on to, maybe. Mzungu, clever kick down the line. And that one going out.
Looking back at the umpire too, Griffin is actually going right to the umpire and having a chat to him.
Fair enough, too.
I mean, that was definitely a free kick there. That was great guarding of the mark too.
Yeah, that was their chance. So look at this. I mean,
Nothing much more than that. Knocked down by Sandilands. Mundy a half chance. Liberatore boots a ball. Only as far as Ibbotson. No one comes at him, so all a bit easy. Ibbotson steps his way through. Sends it down towards half forward. Coming back with courage there, Morris. Knows no other way. Fife's got it. Here's trouble now. The Dockers with Pavlich going back to the goal square. Gets it from Valentine. And he's 10 metres out. Well, they've responded to start this term.
Time back on.
Pavlich hasn't had a possession in this second half. Well weighted kick, just out in front. Only one man could get that.
15, go on, Matt.
A lot of people at the ground willing him to miss this, but you wouldn't expect it.
Move it on, please.
It's taken a while. People could finish a Rubik's Cube in the time this is taken, but he gets some reprieve from the umpire Chamberlain. That was all okay. Apparently it's a goal.
you can pull rank when you Pav sometimes, can't you?
You get the extra 10.
Dan, as you call it, Pickham was desperate to run at him. He looked at the umpire twice. He said, "Can I go at him? Can I go at him?" You know.
Did he take off? I thought he actually went forward for a couple.
Yeah,
he looked better off it.
Pav was not going to be rushed, was he?
That was a long time. We should put a watch on that, maybe, do you think?
Well, the umpire had the watch on him.
Ray Chamberlain, too, doesn't always step back.
So Pavlich, 603 goals, same number as Buddy Franklin. I know Nick Revolt's got 598. I reckon Brownie's up to 590 after last night. So 4 of them all around the 600, 4 of the real greats. But a telling goal for the Dockers. Liberatore, brilliant tackle there. McRae legged. Now Minson should bring it back to McRae, and he does.
Why wasn't they dropping the ball though? That tackle, I mean, the tackler not rewarded there.
Short.
Incorrect disposal.
Bontempelli. He's got no obvious target, so what does he do here? He's going to sit it up to about 15 metres out. Sandilands was the big one up, as you'd expect. John Siracusa sort of hands it out to Liberatore. Mundy's got him. Ball drops down, not going anywhere. Ball up. So the Dogs, a fair way back now on that board, needing a goal from this forward entry.
That wasn't the Daily W. Wanted the high, slow kick. Everyone got underneath it. Mzungu back to Hill. Boots it just outside the defensive 50. Pearce sends it back in. Neil in trouble on the half volley and going to the ground. Sutcliffe got boot to ball, played it pretty well. Out wide, Pearce. Strong Shepherd came from Ballantyne. Put the little body in. There's a chance for Johnson then. Back to Pearce. It's 2-on-1 here. Pavlich and Johnson, a couple of all Australians, beaten by Morris, who was terrific. Ballantyne trying to knock it across to Duffield. McRae no way through. This is Mundy. Liberatore got him. Rough head. Spills across to Ballantyne. Just struck the ball. And this kick from Bonapelli bounces down towards the attacking 50. Well done by Cramry. Test of strength. He won it. Roback back to Cramry. He's on his left leg. Cramry hooks it down towards a vacant goal square, but well wide of the mark and through for a behind.
How good could he be, Cramley, Tim? You've watched him pretty closely over the years.
No, he's very good. And he's been good this afternoon as well. And I just think if he can get better players around him, Joey, he could even be better, Cramry, because at the moment he's probably going to get... He's got their best defender on him right now in McFarlane. He's still able to get hold of the ball.
So a really good pick-up for the Dogs.
Oh, he's exactly what they needed, They just need another couple of forwards. And they don't grow on trees, those big blokes that can play that position.
Well, that was their 56th inside 50, which is their highest for the year already in this quarter. So they're getting plenty of opportunities. They just need some help down there.
And they've kicked 5 goals, 13, Joey, from 56 inside, Joe. Gee, Clark's been so impressive, hasn't he? He's overhead marking. Good kick too. Just gives Pavlich and Fife a run. Wood was up high. Cooney probably wanting that result and getting it, and a boundary throw in.
They're going to make their move now, though, don't they, the Bulldogs? The next 5 minutes, if they're really going to push Fremantle in this last quarter, they really need to find something here.
Clark bodies up with Minson, fell short. Main did nicely to Hill. Heard the voice, goes to Crowley with the outside of the boot. Fife in best position here. Awkward for Wood. He played it well. Knocked it away. Roving the pack is Pickin to Morris. Morris slips it across to Higgins. Confronted there by Subin. Goes back to Wood. And we find some clear air and drives towards the outer side. Well, he couldn't hang on then, Stevens. Stopped it pretty well, though. Made something out of nothing. Cramry came strongly, as did Ibbotson. In the opposite direction. Catches them on the rebound. Fife's got it. Long in the square is Pearce. Decides against that and goes short. That would have been a long trip to Pearce. Would have taken about a 60-metre kick. He was about 20 metres in the clear, but now in short, Main with a chance to kick a goal. The margin was 31 points at half-time. And if he kicks a goal here, it'll be back to 31. And you would think, despite the best efforts of the Bulldogs, it's going to be almost impossible. So Main just trying to suck it up initially. He's a hard runner, and sometimes a set shot coming off the hard running can be difficult. He's no Pav, he doesn't get the half hour. Kicks it from 50, tugs it. Kick of a tired man, at least in the short term, and the ball goes out of bounds.
He is a unique player in a way. I mean, I guess Goldsack at the moment is doing something similar. He's not kicking as many goals as Main, but
He's a tackling machine, isn't he?
Forward defensive player, but he's normally good for a goal a match. Not this year. Oh, Sandilands. It's a big goal.
Gee, Pickin and Ballantyne have had plenty to say to each other in this second half. At one stage there during the third quarter, they were both tangled. The ball was coming their way. Neither of them was looking at the ball. They were resting on the ground. I noticed when Pickin got up a little bit later, there's a little bit of claret coming out of his nose too. So we're going to surmise as to how that may have occurred.
They'll probably go out the back at the end of the match.
And Tim, I reckon that both Sandilands and Zach Clark are probably just wearing down Minson, aren't they? They've just taken their toll. Sandilands with his physicality and Zach Clark with his run, and you can see there it looks like Minson's really starting to labour a bit.
So a massive goal in the context of the match from the biggest guy out there, obviously, in the competition. So they've had a good day. Winston's certainly been willing. He's been outnumbered and in the end a bit outgunned, but not through lack of effort. Jin Siracusa's handball cut off. Coming in for the kill now, the Dockers. Bontempelli getting it forward. Rovat searching, kept his head over. That was really good. To McRae.
Advantage, Bulldogs.
Back to Higgins. Higgins to full forward now. At the back, Cooney couldn't get there though because Johnson's so good. Barlow, Neal, Ibbotson. Back to Wallace. Back to Big Will. Clever. Dalhouse. And it's out of play. So more inside 50s than any other time this season for the Dogs, but the efficiency hasn't been there today, and that obviously is part to do with who they're playing.
Tossed in, Sandilands, who got that last goal, big one in the match. Knocked it forward, Subin Crowley, Ibbotson. Decoy there. Oh, well, very interesting kick. It comes across towards Tutt. He's not much better, although completely different. High ball downwards, pulled forward. Mzungu feigns a hand pass, kept it. That was well done. Clark has had a very good afternoon. Could have almost got a kick there. Nothing doing. Reaching in, rough head. Barlow joins the fray. And the umpire will ball it up.
It's not about 1-2 combination, is it, Sandlands and Clark? Because both of them are capable of going forward and clunking one.
They're well stocked for big men because every time Griffin plays, he plays very well. Wide of the pack, Wallace falling to the ground. Tutt, Higgins, been in the back, nothing doing. Clark, Neal, high ball, very close to the boundary line. Out of bounds on the full.
Yeah, there's a few clubs that love a fit Griffin, wouldn't they, Ben? And that haven't got many ruckmen at the moment. But he's had his nose in front of Clark a few times, but injury. But Clark making a really good fist of today again.
They've become harder to play against again in this last quarter, haven't they, Fremantle?
Yeah,
There's no doubt Ross Lyon wouldn't have been happy with what he saw during that third quarter.
So Dawson. Sandilands and Pavlich, a couple of the flyers. Crowley's hands good. Fife arcs to back. Gets the ball inside 50. Ballantyne running hard. Takes the mark. He's kicked three, given another one off. He is such a combative beast, isn't he, this Ballantyne?
That's good. He's on the mark.
Tommy Rockcliffe might just about be taking his top.
15 goals.
Well, this would be a season high for him. He has kicked 4 on this ground before.
You know what I'm talking about, Dennis?
No, it's just watching Ballantyne. Sorry, Tim. Should be a no.
Not coming back, so a miss there. He's had a profitable afternoon, though. 3 first half goals.
He's a cheeky little fella, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he's got
Umpire says 15. He waits a couple of seconds, then cocks his hand as though he didn't hear. He gets 15. A fresh set of 15. There's the kick in from Higgins. It's a push in the back, and it will go to the Dogs to be taken by Crameri, who's come up a long way now. Is it right half back? Needs to be precise, and was just centimetres in from the boundary. McRae just lobs it over the man on the mark. Cooney has been good this afternoon. Cooney down towards half forward. Pitches in no man's land. Ricochets to Williams. Tackled almost before the ball arrived. Robat goes down. He's getting a free kick. He's built low to the ground, and that helps him in those tight situations. Hard man to pull back because he's very stocky. Goes short. Murphy across the ground. Now they're a chance. Roughhead looks up. Man on. Oh, well, he takes Howard a long way from the 50. Howard, though, spots a leading player in the pocket. Gian Siracusa, 2 metres in from the boundary. Coming at him is Griffin. Knocked away down there. Coming through Main. Crowley, who did the spoiling initially. Neal, and now Johnson.
In that familiar pose of Johnson where he runs away. Had a couple of options and missed them all in the end. Howard's handball, not great. Rovat, well done. Mzungu drove him into the ground. Murphy, good chance from here, Murph. But well played getting back. McFarlane. They position themselves so well, the Docker defence, don't they? Just a moment, as Dennis was saying a moment ago, when they just pushed Howard a long way from goal to get that kick. They play the zone so well. Johnson, the only All-Australian in this team last year, but they had a wonderful season getting to the grand final. And you feel like they're going to be amongst September action pretty deep this year as well. Pearce, good kick. Hill, he's kicked a couple. Man, that's sweet, isn't it? He's kicked 3. He's had a big afternoon.
How many times have we seen plays similar to that unfold this afternoon? The numbers all up one ground, they roll up and then they roll back again, and then they find those players free on the attacking side of the Bulldogs' defence.
And really the pressure now goes out of the scoreboard now, doesn't it?
He'd be starting to think, would he not, about next week, Joe?
Well, if Ross is thinking about next week, that's what he's got in front of him. What do you think, Joe? Where do they get all those wins? Where do you think?
Yeah, I think they win all 4 of those games. Yeah, I certainly do. I think they're building nicely. But I'll tell you what, Ross wouldn't be thinking about next week. He's still thinking about the next 5 minutes. Don't worry.
Minson very conscious of Clark. Did well, clean possession. Hooks it down towards half forward. Dalhouse came up quickly. Oh, in trouble. Duffield just gave it away. Dalhouse then kicks into Spur. Mazungu quick hands. Barlow. Sutcliffe around the outer side. Pavlich on the end of it. In the middle is Clark. Comes in his direction. 1 out inside the forward 50 is Main. And Clark decides not to go. Main pretty close to him. Bacon goal square though. Well, that's audacious. He tries to bounce it through and he just misses to the left-hand side. Jack McRae moments ago learned a lesson. I think Hill is one of those players you play from behind and force him away from goal. Once he gets behind you and you're ball watching, you're a dead duck. As it comes from Murphy, John Syracuse, a good grab.
Good mark. And Cooney short. Griffin and Crowley. Well, it's been a remarkable performance by Crowley. Griffin 7 disposals today. How many of those have been kicks, Tim? Two kicks. Murphy short. Stevens. Higgins. Twisting and turning. Morris. Picken. Down the line. Howard. Good turn. Got away from Fife. And a neat kick to Tuck. So they've worked this okay, but they haven't got very far. So Tuck winds himself up and goes to the pocket. Williams just got a little hand on it. Subban did really well. Bounces away, and they're out again.
To a contest. Picken, who's done a pretty good job this afternoon too. Unable to stop Fife that time. He comes back towards the middle. Barlow. Some of the praises of Crowley, but back to back. Picken's been terrific last week against the Suns. Again today. Falling forward, Higgins had a very good game, up to 25 possessions now. McRae, Murphy through midfield, straight to Clark. The longer it's gone, the better he's been. Ballantyne up on his toes, sensing it. Too tall for Pearce, though. The mark is taken by Liberatore. Griffin. Another tentative bounce. Wallace under pressure. Higgins again. With both hands cocked at various times. Picken taken down by Fife. Rolls reversed. Mazungu on the burst then. Ballantyne. Here's Hill. Copybook. He's got 4.
It's a beautiful, compact kicking style, hasn't it?
He just doesn't miss, does he?
No, it's just so efficient. He just glides across the turf and then just kicks it nice and easy. But you talk about Ross's style of play and how it can be taxing, because you can see the way they play, where they roll back and it's almost that rope-a-dope. They defend. They've still laid 70 tackles, and then for them to score is they all need to run hard forward of the ball and get down the ground, and they've done that really well today. And I wonder if the bye has helped them there, but can they sustain that throughout the whole season? That's probably the big task.
So career high for Hill here, 4 goals. Best return yet. And blowing out now. It's been a really strong finale here from the Dockers. And the good thing for them, they've kept the Dogs to very little as Griffin gets his 3rd kick today, and that percentage will be increased by doing so. They can't really improve tonight, 7th on the table, but they will be improving over the next month or two, as we've seen their draw. Mark, just down to you for a moment on the Dogs in their list.
Yeah, Monty, I was just thinking, you know, they've got some really good positives. I think their midfield depth is quite good. They just need some help around there. Oh, it's obviously key forwards and their key backs. Morris and obviously Roughhead hold it up down there, but they need some help. But structurally, they seem pretty sound and going nice and hard. A competitive group of young players. And I think Brendan McCartney, who's a very, very good coach, is on the right track.
Yeah, you're right. Obviously, we know Crameri's been a great pickup, but they're trying Fraser Roberts. Tom Williams is trying to be that other key forward. So they're just trying to work out what their best combination will be to help out Crameri and guys like that, and Jinsu Cruiser down in that forward line. Daniel
Pearce out of defence then, up towards the wing. Fife and Morris. Morris doesn't mind it on the deck. He's anxious to get down and dirty, and now he could be penalised for holding the ball. Well, he chose to go to ground, but worked out very well. What a good player he's been over the trip. Dale Morris, All-Australian in 2008. Minson locks up with Sandilands, but now it's too easy for those ruckmen for Fremantle. Morris again, got it from Liberatore, comes to Cooney, and he pops it up straight to Barlow.
He has worked hard, Cooney, getting up to about season high. Barlow and the other couple of guys, Joey, Grant and Jones, you just wonder, don't you? Jones suspended at the moment. Grant's had a lot of injuries, but forwards that they've invested a fair bit in, haven't they? So Cooney, Higgins, we've talked a lot about him. He's been good. Murphy's had a fair bit of the ball, just hasn't delivered quite as well as normal. That was okay. Cramley took the mark. Oh, he's a bit stiff. Juggled it over apparently, so boundary throw in. So the Dogs next fight. Okay, Joey, they'll be favourite next week, and Melbourne will be a test for them, won't they?
Yeah, there's a couple of winnable games in that four, though. So they've played well today. Look, their effort's been really good. They've been thereabouts. They've just got to keep working hard.
Chance here. Dalehouse rolls it home. Good reward. It was a good build-up, and he's kicked a goal. His first.
I don't think the Bulldogs are that far behind that other block of teams like Adelaide and Essendon and Richmond. I mean, if you look at the results, it indicates that as well. So. But those teams are still a fair way behind that other block at the top.
They're in front of GWS Brisbane, and they're probably an inch in front of you guys too, I think, Joey, to be honest, and Kilda. Probably about where Melbourne have got themselves to right now.
Yeah. Well, they played each other not that long ago, Melbourne and Bulldogs.
Just gone
home.
So they're sort of at the top of the bottom six, the Dogs, aren't they?
Yeah. And they're building, though. You look at the games in some of their key kids. I mean, they're still a long way off where they need to be experience-wise.
Sandilands knocks it down. Neal charges in. McRae did well. John Siracusa inside the forward 50. Williams favoured by the kick. A little slow to go, and it runs out of bounds. So with that last goal, Rick Dalehouse has 10 for the season. That's second at the Dogs behind Crameri. Boundary throw in.
They just don't get a big enough spread, do they? I don't reckon they get enough from their midfielders either.
Their total possession is quite amazing, really. They're up 392 to 343. John Siracusa, having watched it, not so amazing. It's the way Fremantle play, of course. McRae taken down. Stevens momentarily took his eye off the ball. Pelly gave it out wide. Roughhead goes back to him. Oh, bounced off a would-be tackler. Pelly kicks it long down towards full forward. Some holding on down there for Crameri. No free kick, and it rolls out of bounds in the pocket.
I reckon in the last 2 minutes we've seen what Bulldog fans can be excited about, Dennis. We saw McRae break from the centre of the ground. He uses the ball intelligently. He's had 27 today, 28 now. And then just what we saw there from Pelly, we've seen Rovat today. So you can get excited if you're a Bulldogs fan about the development there with those young players.
Wallace has worked hard, gets it back to Liberatore, is it? It's a goal, I think. Is it now behind? So a couple of famous Bulldog names up point there. Bontempelli's had a really good last quarter, hasn't he? He's going to be very good.
I know we've spoken about him before, but he's such a big road-pass midfielder.
He would be as tall as Graham Farmer. Right?
He could be playing. We'd be taller than Polly Farmer, and he could be playing key position, Bontempelli.
Good mark, Mzungu. Controls it.
Of image.
Do you think Hill's been the best man on the ground?
I think with his 4 goals, it tops it off. Yeah.
I would have thought so. Come back well from that injury in the third quarter.
Drives it close to the boundary. Ruffhead got a first on it. Roll through his legs. Ballantyne to Fife. Fife misses.
Dennis, can I ask you a question about Sylvia? Where is he at right now? Is he knocking on the door? Are they preparing to play him? Is he going to be something we see in the second half of the year?
He was in the squad for today, wasn't he? And they left him out despite the late injury. He struggled for form over there, and he had the suspension and an injury himself. But you would have thought that perhaps he would have got a run today. Although on performance, obviously Everton ahead of him. Here's Murphy, short one. This kid's something. McRae like him a lot. That's why. That's a terrific kick. Pickin inside the forward 50. Missed by everybody. Back Williams should have marked it. Everton just lurking, tidying up. Crowley. And now Subban tracks it wide.
Corralled by Cooney. And out on the full. Should have marked him. Just go back to Sylvia. Dennis, I don't know about you. I'd love to see him get a chance under Ross Lyon, because I reckon under Ross Lyon he could really fulfil his potential.
There might be something different about him under Ross Lyon than we've seen previously. But
I thought he'd be a star over there. I really did. I saw him play some really good football for Melbourne. But they said he came in underdone, which is hard to believe at a new club, isn't it?
Good mark by from McFarlane. For sure. But
it may be what's holding him back too, because he's never been a really big endurance type player.
Liberatore and Mzungu. Stevens has kicked a couple, put Gier in a tight spot. Back to Stevens. Clever kick actually from Stevens, rolling a bit behind. Anyway, he might have hurt his ankle there. But look, Sylvia's still got time, both age-wise and also this season. But it'll be interesting. As Dennis said, he was in the squad today, so that's a start. He was in the 25.
I'm sure they would like to play him because he rolled into town with a lot of publicity. Just for the moment, on the edge. There's McFarlane, anything but. Outside the defensive 50, Clark's in front. Over the top comes Wood, very athletic, and Wood thumps it out of bounds. So the clock is down to 1:22. And Fremantle just taking care of business. They're up by 38. So in the second half, the margin only up 7 points. It's 31 at halftime. Mzungu tries to walk through the pack. Kneels over the football. Went through the legs of Mzungu. Still going. Trying to get it across towards Main. It came back to him. He's sick of the thing. Liberatore. Wanted Pelly's kick into the pocket and off hands, and it goes out of bounds.
It's still a great defensive effort, isn't it? They've kept the Bulldogs to 51 points. They've had 67 inside 50s. They're hard to score against. You get the ball to that part of the ground, they're still hard to break down and score against.
Getting them inside 50 doesn't mean you score against the Dockers, does it? And they've proven that again today. Ibbotson whacking it away. Good mark, the big guy. Down the line in the dining room. Ballantyne's had a good day. Interesting in the first half. 3 first half goals. He's a shrewd footballer, and that's a good kick and an even better mark taken by Barlow.
Tim, can I ask you where you see Freo this year? Do you think Freo can be a serious contender? Or
absolutely. Absolutely. At the point of, I think you've got to qualify in lane 4 or 5 in this competition, don't you? You want to be the fastest qualifier, the second fastest qualifier to get the best position. So the interstate sides, it's going to be that much harder for them if they have to travel early in the final series.
So that's it. A typical Fremantle effort. It wasn't pretty, but it was very effective. And we feel they might be on the start of a big roll here. Cav kicked a couple, 100% efficiency for his disposals today. In the end, it was 51-89. The Dockers over the Dogs. Nice touch there. And let's go down to Mark Maveus with Lockie Neal, who Joey talked about Fremantle, and he certainly didn't let him down.